Quis custodiet, ipsos custodes. Do we know what we're talking about, Hilary? Well, why don't you join us to find out? Thank you.
Nigel Cecil, calling things out as you like it.
Hello, Chakabatis, welcome. Thank you for joining my very good friend Hilary, invariably on hand, to help me, moi, Nigel Cecil, present these videos on your behalf, because our regular viewers know to get in touch via our usual email address to bring to our attention your comments, views, observations and questions that then provide the topics for these videos. Generally, they're about showbiz. Other times it's applying show business principles to, well, politicians, would you believe, and how they try and communicate with who should be the most important people in their lives when it comes to staying in Parliament, you, the electorate. Our fair-minded friends have just brought to our attention this Latin phrase, quis custodiet ipsos custodes. Reminds us of grammar school, doesn't it, Hilary? Latin is a language as dead can be. First it killed the Romans, and now it's killing me. That phrase, from an ancient Roman, well, they would be ancient, wouldn't they, poet called Juvenal, quis custodiet ipsos custodes. Who watches the watchman? Who guards the guards? This video is in two parts. Part one is focusing on Robert Jenrick and what they were saying about the need for security following the tragic, horrendous murder of Anne Widdecombe. Nigel Farage jumped into the debate as well, and others were saying, well, they're just being opportunistic, demanding security. But I think we can all agree that security for those in public life is important. Now, part one, part two is going to be focusing, because you brought it to our attention, on you, the grassroots, the electorate. But for this video, looking at unintended consequences if you have security, because, well, there's several schools of thought. You see, you can have a democracy where control and what is going on is from the people upwards. One person, one vote, by the people, for the people. And then the other way round, where it's, well, government, the state, controlling downwards. And with a flick of a switch, that could easily turn into a form of controlled dictatorship. And there are those nowadays who are thinking that the United Kingdom is drifting into control. The gradualization is inevitable. But let's come to this phrase, quis custodiet ipsos custodes, because Robert Jenrick and Nigel Farage saying we need security, we need security. Where do you get security from? Can you trust the security? Will it be watching you 24/7? We've got a first-hand experience from celebrity pop stars back in the 70s, before there were mobile phones. You just couldn't pick up the mobile phone and say, hello, how are you? We were involved in a television show, the director and myself, and we were pals with the celebrity headlining the show. And as they were leaving, they said, we fancy going out to play tonight in the city. Why don't you pop round to the hotel at 8 o'clock, give us a shout, and we'll go out. So we did. It was a wonderful opportunity. We got to the hotel, we rang up the room, and the phone was answered by someone who said, oh no, they are feeling tired. They don't want to go out. They send their apologies and look forward to seeing you again. We looked at each other and thought, that's not really. But what could we do? It just seemed odd. So off we trotted and we went to the clubs ourselves. And then the next morning, it was headlines in the press. They'd been out partying on the town. What? We thought, what's going on here? Have we upset them? But then the following week, we met up in London. And the opening question was, they turned around to us and said, where were you? We were waiting for you in the room, and you never called, you never showed up. And we said, Yes, we did. We rang and we were told you were tired and you weren't going out. And then the penny dropped. For the first time for quite some time, the celebrity had their security because they were just popping up north for one day, provided by, can't recall whether it was the record company or the management, but it was a different security team. Whereas normally they had their personal security team, a wonderful person called Stuart, and they weren't there. And we realised what has happened was this ad hoc security team must have thought, we don't fancy going out, or we want an easy night. And so they controlled the information. They were also aware of what the celebrity was up to, so they could have leaked some story to the press. Which is why, when it comes to security, especially top of the first division, as members of Parliament are hoping to become, it's important you ask the question, who's watching the watchmen? Quis custodiet ipsos custodes. Latin is a language as dead can be. First it killed the Romans, and now it's killing me. But you have to admit it. The ideas from years and years ago, put forward by the Romans, are just as relevant today as they were then. Nothing really changes, lessons to be learned. So when Nigel Farage and Robert Jenrick and others are calling for security, who provides the security? Are they watching you? And are they reporting back to others who are watching them? Remember, in a democracy, it's all about from the people upwards. But from other forms of control, it's from those up there looking down at you. So, unintended consequences, the inevitability of gradualization. Who is watching the watchmen? It's not just as easy to say, we want security. What does that security involve? And in showbiz, who knows when to keep their mouth shut and who is reporting back to someone else to get headline news and possibly, especially in showbiz, get a few extra quid on the side for generating the headline. We'll leave that there. Who watches the watchman? Please join us for part 2 when we're going to be looking at, well, social decay, social dilemmas, and for those at the bottom, the people, by the people, for the people. Who is providing our security? Do join us again, as we say, all meant in the best possible taste. Thank you.